Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're tackling something that is absolutely fundamental to every single society out there, and that's justice. I mean, a fair justice system is literally the bedrock of trust between us and the government, right? But what happens when that system is just fundamentally strained? Well, we're going to explore the incredibly delicate balance between AI efficiency and human legal oversight. And to be clear, we aren't talking about science fiction here. We're talking about using real technology today to expose the cracks in our reality.
So let's get one thing straight right out of the gate. AI is not here to be some kind of robot judge. No way. It should never decide guilt or innocence, and it definitely shouldn't become a secret authority operating above the law. Instead, think of it more like a really powerful, tireless auditor. Its whole job is to expose the loopholes, the bottlenecks, and the inconsistencies so that human professionals can actually go in and fix them.
We've got some fascinating ground to cover today. Here's our roadmap. First, the cracks in justice. Then, catching up to modern crime, exposing patterns of injustice, protecting the vulnerable, and finally, why efficiency absolutely needs human oversight. Starting off with Section 1, the cracks in justice and the loopholes in the system. Look, a loophole in the justice system isn't just some boring legal technicality. It has a massive, real-world human cost. You might have a poor person waiting literally years for their day in court, while someone with deep pockets uses a technical gap to escape consequences entirely. Behind every single missing file, every delayed hearing, or botched investigation, there's a victim losing hope and an accused person just languishing in jail. When the system fails to be swift and fair, the whole society suffers. Moving to Section 2, catching up to modern crime and updating those outdated laws. We are currently dealing with a huge point of friction. Many of our penal codes were written decades or, honestly, even centuries ago. They were built for physical theft and traditional forgery. But today, we're fighting 21st century digital crimes. Stuff like deepfake blackmail, cryptocurrency laundering, ransomware, and we're trying to do it using completely outdated rulebooks. It's wild. AI can actually scan these massive penal codes, compare them with modern crime data, and instantly highlight exactly where our laws are just too weak to handle today's threats.
And laws also fail when they're just way too vague. Terms like suspicious behavior or public order. I mean, they might sound reasonable on paper, but without strict definitions, they create these massive loopholes for selective enforcement. Different authorities interpret them differently, which leads to wildly unequal justice. AI can rapidly scan volumes of legal text, flag those confusing, undefined terms, and hand them right to lawmakers to clarify before they get misused in the real world.
All right, Section 3, exposing patterns of injustice and uneven outcomes.
Consider this scenario for a second. Two people can commit the exact same crime, but depending on the court or the region they're tried in, they might get vastly different punishments. Sometimes that's due to the unique facts of the case, sure, but often it's just weak standards or a lack of unified training. AI can analyze millions of past judgments to highlight these alarming inconsistencies. It really forces us to step back and ask, does justice depend on the facts or just your zip code? And what about time? Because delay is an injustice all on its own. In a lot of places, court cases take years. Witnesses forget things, evidence degrades, and public trust just totally collapses. By scanning thousands of court records, AI can create a dynamic delay map. So instead of just throwing our hands up and complaining that the system is slow, administrators can pinpoint exactly which step is the bottleneck. Maybe it's pending forensic reports, or missing notices, or just one specific overloaded court. Even the best laws are going to fail if the initial police investigation is sloppy. AI can securely audit police files to find recurring errors across hundreds of cases. Are witness statements constantly going missing? Is the chain of custody repeatedly broken? Are we letting CCTV footage get overwritten before it's even collected? By identifying these exact weaknesses, the tech highlights if a specific unit needs better training or more resources, completely independent of any actual judicial ruling. Think about a modern case file for a minute. It is an absolute mountain of paper. Medical records, police reports, witness statements. Human public defenders are incredibly overworked. So AI steps in here as a sort of legal spell checker. It can instantly flag if a witness said one thing in document A, but something totally different in document B, or if a CCTV timeline doesn't match the police report. It doesn't decide the truth. It just points out contradictions in the paperwork that a tired human might accidentally miss. Let's move to Section 4,
protecting the vulnerable and defending the accused. A truly fair system has to aggressively protect both the innocent and the accused. AI can scan historical and current data to find cases where bail was denied unfairly, like if it was seemingly based on income rather than an actual flight risk. It can identify prisoners who've been sitting in jail waiting for a trial longer than their maximum sentence would even be. It can even flag old cases for wrongful conviction review, like those built entirely on a single disputed witness with zero forensic evidence, and send them straight for urgent human review. This technology also builds a crucial safety net for victims. The legal system can be incredibly intimidating, and that causes a lot of victims of fraud or harassment to just give up. An AI assistant can simplify things, explaining rights in plain, everyday English, and even more powerfully, it can scan a case for retaliation risks, like previous complaints or violated protection orders, and instantly flag that file for urgent human intervention to keep the victim safe. Now, knowledge is power, right? But most everyday people simply cannot read complex, archaic legal jargon. And if you don't know your rights, you definitely can't defend them. AI can translate dense penal codes into simple local languages because a justice system is only strong when the citizens actually understand it. Breaking down that barrier empowers the public to know exactly what's illegal, what their rights are, and how to properly file a complaint. Which brings us to our final point, Section 5, efficiency needs human oversight. We have to be super clear about this. AI efficiency is incredibly dangerous without strict safeguards. If an algorithm is trained on past data that's full of poor human decisions, well, it's just going to automate those same mistakes at a massive scale. If the algorithms are kept secret, citizens can't challenge them in court. And if we rely on automation too heavily, we risk losing human judgment and empathy. The tech has to be completely transparent, protect privacy, and support, never ever replace human decision-making. So the essential balance looks exactly like this. Step 1, AI acts strictly as the assistant, scanning massive amounts of data to flag anomalies, delays, and vague laws. Step 2, human oversight. Judges, lawyers, civil rights groups reviews that specific data in context. And step 3, accountable, human-led institutions enact the actual reform. The final calls must always remain with human beings. You know how software engineers beta test an app to find bugs before they release it? AI can do that for lawmakers. Before a new law is ever passed, AI can scan the draft to make sure it protects due process, doesn't conflict with existing laws, and actually accounts for modern crimes. It's a brilliant preventative measure to stop loopholes before they are ever printed into law. Imagine the culmination of all this, a secure national justice dashboard. Now, it wouldn't expose private, sensitive case data to the public. Instead, it gives leaders and oversight committees the hard statistical evidence they need to actually improve things. It shows average delay times, alerts them to weird sentencing variations, flags outdated codes, and tracks bail review needs. It takes opinions and political speeches completely out of the equation, providing raw evidence to expose inefficiency. AI is fundamentally changing what we can see. It can map the delays, highlight the unequal punishments, and expose the poorly written laws. But at the end of the day, it is only a tool. So I want to leave you with this provocative thought to wrap up our explainer today. The technology is completely ready to show us the hard truth about our blind spots. The real question is, once it shows us exactly where the system is failing, are we, as a society, brave enough and committed enough to actually step up and fix it? Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive.